well, something's not quite right here at Covenant, and we've been getting lied to since we got here. They've been hiding stuff, and I'd kind of like to get to the bottom of it, find out why.
Hey, a stranger? It's no secret you've been poking around. Not very neighborly of you, if you ask me. I know you think you're doing the right thing. Just don't make any rash decisions you'll regret.
What rash decisions are you talking about?
Maybe your next destination doesn't appreciate trespassers.
Just come out and say what you mean.
Maybe you heard a rumor about Stockton's caravan in a certain compound? So, hypothetically, let's say there's something to that. We wouldn't do anything unless we had good reasons. The best. Tell you what, you just stop this investigation, and I'll give you a gift. 100 caps. And then you'd be welcome back here as our friend anytime.
Surely there's room for compromise. I get Stockton's survivors, and we stay friends. I'd have to know more, though.
That's a tall order. A deal like that, well, that's above my pay grade. Tell you what, I'll let the compound know you're coming. Then you can make your case to them. Good luck.
Yeah, the same compound you claim ignorance of not just 5 minutes ago. Look, when people are hiding something, they've got something to hide. That's a simple, obvious fact that's often overlooked in an investigation, is the fact that somebody was hiding something in the first place. That means that they felt they had something to hide, which means that they know they're wrong. You know, usually. Anyway. Well, we're going to go see. Apparently there's going to be some kind of a decision to make here, some kind of sides to take. He already had offered us 100 caps. I could have made it a little sweeter than that, 500, 1,000 maybe, at least to make it worth thinking about. But like my character said, and I really think that's cool. It's part of the dialogue is, you know, I've got to know more. And with these kinds of things, especially when there's a moral decision to be made or something, I like to take in all the evidence. And a lot of times, the pit was a perfect example. I thought it was really, really well designed as far as the story and the moral dilemma in there. Is that once you got all the evidence, you realize that the quote-unquote bad guys were the good guys. And that you realize the quote-unquote good guys or the victims were actually the bad guys. And but you had to put all the pieces together and hear both sides, and then take into account the world that they were living in and the conditions in which the place were found, what they had become, and what the vision for the future of that place was. And it was a realistic vision based on the fact that they had an actual cure, a solution in the works, in progress, and that some patience and discipline would be necessary until that came to fruition, you know. And it was but it seemed on the surface like a very obvious moral choice that Asher and these slavers were the bad guys, and the raiders and slavers were, that he had working for him. They were pieces of crap, and even Asher understood that. And it was one of those harsh realities, basically, that he dealt with, is having to employ people who were capable of keeping the place in line, and that's the really ugly side of it, but also defending the place from outside people who might want a piece of what they were working on, you know, working steel mill, whatever technology they had at their disposal. I'll tell you what, those raiders would have been just as quick to shoot the Brotherhood of Steel if they were to come back, as they would for a raiding band of super mutants or whatever, you know, if the Trogs were to rise up, or the ghouls, or, you know, whatever. So they did provide some sense of security for the place, and at some point they wouldn't be needed. I would be curious as to how Asher would deal with that once the raiders and slavers weren't needed anymore, and the citizens could be given a cure and start you know, reproducing, start having children again, and healthy children and all that stuff. You know, that was the vision for the future, and he was working tirelessly to achieve that. And you even, once you got hold of his holotapes, his personal diary that he leaves for his child, you know, for later years, you find out that that actually is his plan, and it was a very level-headed, sober one, dealing with the ugly part of what he had to do to get that thing working. Just a side note on the pit, you know, people say, oh, you're pro-slavery. No, not at all. Not pro any of the things that had to be done. Of course, I'm not living in a post-apocalyptic nuclear wasteland either, where everything is deadly, okay? What I do know is those slaves were all dead had Asher not come along, right? And those slaves would have either died in captivity elsewhere in the wasteland, and he at least gave them opportunity to come in and work towards some kind of future. Not justifying the actions, I'm saying there was some necessity. There had to be, in an area that was incapable of reproduction or anything other than a lot of sickness and death, there had to be a way to come in and clean it up. and make it working again and eventually produce a cure that would be greater than anything you could find anywhere else. Just saying, you know? Yeah, but it was ugly truths. It was hard on the surface as a moral decision.
Fucking around the shore at all hours. Scaring my fish.
Excuse me.
Go find your own fishing spot. Clear out.
But like I say, it required taking in all the evidence to see the whole picture and to see how backwards and hypocritical the slaves were.
I hate this place.
Yeah, Medea and what's his face, who used to be one of Asher's lackeys anyway, and wanted a lot of what was in the pit for himself and stuff, and wanted to exploit this baby as a cure at the expense of that baby's life, most likely, without having the proper medical care or ways to extract a cure from the kid. They were going to use it as essentially like the goose laying the golden eggs and just go ahead and kill the goose and use it as leverage to take over the city, let the trogs free, let them run over the pit and destroy the pit. What could be one of the last bastions of hope for anybody, you know?
I hate this place.
Hey, Dan.
Some people up ahead. I'll follow your lead.
But it required taking in all the evidence. So I'm gonna listen here. I don't really know what's going on anyway. We haven't really even gotten the surface issue yet. But I guess we'll see here in a minute.
Just because Jacob vouched for you doesn't mean you can enter the compound. Why should I let you in?
All I want is to find Stockton's people. This doesn't have to get messy.
I see. I'll take her to Dr. Chambers. She can decide what to do with you. Don't try anything funny. You've been warned.
Well, we get a doctor involved. I'm assuming a scientist, which is already boding not so well for these people. They certainly are armed. They're in the sewer, which is questionable.
Blythe! Hey, Blythe!
Torture. They are sick. Just give me the signal.
Yes, what is it, Manny?
I thought you guys were done with Subject 12.
Oh yes, the interview's over. I'm just reviewing the data on question 4. It's fascinating, really.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Certainly.
Question 4, subject 12. Torture. Honest Dan just mentioned torture. Thinking Honest Dan's pretty cool.
Chained on the other side.
Interesting. A mercenary with a moral compass and some honesty and some integrity is not really so much a merc as much as just a hired soldier. Wonder if he's the kind that only takes the good contracts.
You shouldn't be in here.
And what? You're gonna do what? I don't know if my gun is better than yours, but I know I am, so well, I don't know what's...
First outsider that's been in here.
Yeah, whatever. Oh, that's not very promising either. All secret hush-hush down here, huh? Like I say, you don't hide something unless you've got something to hide. Now, sometimes you have to hide the good stuff from the bad guys. I get it.
Hey, extend the platform. Warden Center.
But, I don't know. I'm still thinking about this caravan getting slaughtered. Well, I'm detected anyway. I can't really do anything about that. These doors are barred from the other side, like other places where you go through and you have to basically get to the boss, kill the boss, and then work your way back out. Sure, they're barred and chained for a reason. Everyone's acting civil enough, I guess, coming in here, but yeah, I've got just about all my radars going off here. I don't think this is going to end well. Turrets. Okay.
Stranger.
Mm-hmm.
Welcome to the compound. Stranger.
The compound and covenant. Let's go ahead and open that now. Didn't show red. Didn't give me any reason not to. Probably a good save point right here too. No idea what's coming. Hate to have to walk back through this whole place. And all right. Well, here's a doctor. Looks like a scientist to me.
So the one investigating Stockton's caravan has arrived. Do you even know that his supposed daughter is in all likelihood a synth? No matter. Let me be upfront about this. There are two ways this meeting can end. We come to an agreement, or there's violence.
Stockton's daughter is a synth?
Why else do you think we attacked her caravan? She has well over a 70% chance of being a synth. I'd have to perform an autopsy, to be sure. Let me pose a question to you. What would you do if your family was destroyed by a synth right in front of you when you were but a child? Would you roll over and accept it? Or would you do something about it?
I would do something to the person that
What
made the
happened to
synth.
you?
In Diamond City, a lifetime ago, my parents and 8 others were massacred by someone. At first, we thought the maniac was human. But that was the day we learned of the Institute's latest creations, the synths. As long as the Institute walks invisibly amongst us, they strike without warning and control us from the shadows. I've dedicated my life to devising a test to detect these hidden synths, to root them out so they can be extinguished. Isn't that a goal worth fighting for?
No. Gun control is not worth
war?
fighting for.
Really? Is it that bad?
Hundreds of kidnappings over the years. Ask the survivors if it's really that bad. And there are so many other tragedies that may be their responsibility as well.
Who really knows what the Institute is responsible for?
And how do they manage to keep us in the dark? A living synth is indistinguishable from a human by any medical test yet devised. But it turns out psychology can detect a difference. Enter the SAFE test. The test is in its infancy, but through sacrifice and perseverance, our success rate is improving.
Sacrifice?
And the safe test works?
Oh, yes. Autopsies confirm the test is getting more accurate. There's something in the questions which provokes a response from synth, but the exact trigger is elusive. The margin of error is admittedly high, 4 or 5 false positives per synth.
What?
But one day we hope to get it to 1 or 2 false positives.
And that would be acceptable to you, you fucking whack job?
It sounds like your test may not even work.
There is a correlation. We've measured it. We just need more data, more test subjects to narrow it down. Covenant is many things. A refuge for the broken people left in the wake of the Institute's rampages. A place of safety and healing. But most importantly, it is our one chance to end this age of paranoia. I will make you a deal. If you let me dispose of Stockton's synth and continue our work, I'll match whatever reward you were offered.
I've had my fill of crazy on this contract. No deal.
Fortunate for me, I wasn't talking to you.
You side with this nut job, and we're going to have a serious, deadly problem.
I like you better already. I totally agree with you, dude.
That's a deal I won't accept.
Then you'll just have to kill me.
Gladly. Make the world a better place. You're what made all this shit in the first place. Alright, so for each synth that they've accidentally uncovered, they've killed 4, 5, 6 innocent people. And that's just out of their test subjects. That's not counting the other people that died in the progress. How many people died in capturing that caravan? Besides whoever they've experimented on. And now they're thinking about killing this girl here. And so what if she's a synth? Remember that comment about gun control? Okay, we're talking about the people making synths. The synths themselves, if they're robots, they're made by people. Go do something to the people. But you're gonna kill a half dozen people on the off chance of finding one with a concealed weapon? Basically is what you're saying? Oh, no. Freaking complete absolute whack job. Okay, so let me put this in perspective. She says that when she was a child, she watched her parents and some friends killed by a synth. So she's gone, and how many parentless children now are around because of the people that she's murdered? Not just caravan guards, but then the people that she's experimented on and tortured and killed, right? And every once in a while she accidentally stumbles on a synth, and that somehow justifies her as thinking that there's some logic or reason to what she's doing, right? The test questions would, I guess, be the GOAT test that we took at the entrance to Covenant, and that they think that maybe one of the questions in there or something provokes a certain response because 1 out of 5 or 6 people actually turns out to be a synth, which may be the percentage of actual synths to people in the Commonwealth right now anyway. Wow. Like I say, how many people were murdered on the side? Now how many orphans are there as a result of this whack job's insanity? Because she's got issues when she was a kid. Well, kill her, and then her issues aren't around anymore. She's not around anymore, and there's a lot of innocent people not dying. That's the solution. Wow, holy crap. No, this isn't a moral decision at all. This is just obvious. It's a complete no-brainer right here. Let's see, attack Blythe. Blythe was that dude, and they're torturing that one person when we walked in. Oh, and apparently Covenant, keeping that place up and running is costing more than they're making off of the stuff that they collect off their victims, the people that they kill and torture. Still doesn't cover the cost of running Covenant. Covenant was designed from the ground up to attract visitors, and it is working. Oh, so it's like a fly trap. Yeah, they draw some flies with honey. Now, let me go see if I can unlock these cells myself. I'd rather have the credit for picking them if they're pickable. Which they are. Good deal. Alright, so, yeah, this is... Okay, so they use the GOAT test to try to sniff out synths. And if someone answers in a certain way based on whatever their data is, which is complete fabrication based on these whack jobs here, trying to feel self-important down here in the sewer, torturing and murdering people, and then dissecting them to find out if they're a robot or not. Friggin' sickos. And they use this all sugary, sweet, fake-ass little community up there to draw them in. Now, apparently some of those people are left over from attacks from synths. Probably orphans and widows and what have you, or whatever. But, you know, I'll tell you what. People, and she proves this, people are just as dangerous, if not more dangerous, than any machine programmed to kill.
Hey.
Please don't hurt me.
It's all right. You're safe now.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I'm Amelia Stockton. I'm not a synth.
I believe you.
I just want this nightmare to end. My father, Old Man Stockton, he will reward you. Just let me out. Please.
No problem, man. Like I say, if a machine is programmed to kill somebody, then it's the people who programmed it, not the machine. In other words, rooting out all the synths won't stop the people from either creating more synths or being the same pieces of shit that made the synths in the first place.
I'm free.
That doesn't change. It's
I'm
like gun control. We'll start finding all these inanimate objects and never actually deal with the people murdering people. If they don't have a gun, what are they going to use then? A knife? A baseball bat? That doesn't stop. It's fucking stupid. Illogical.
Hey, Dan.
So Stockton gets his daughter and we get paid. Not a bad day.
What if she's a synth?
If even after all they've done to her, they don't know if she's a synth or not, I figure she's human enough.
Right on,
Here's your
man.
cut of the reward. I'll get my half from Stockton. Been a pleasure.
Be safe, Dan.
Same to you.
I don't want extra stuff from this dude or whatever, man. Go get your man. He's cool, man. He's cool. I hope he comes up as a follower later or something, man. He's cool. Doing the right thing. What a point. It's like, if they don't even know if she's human or not, she's human enough for me. Totally down with that. I want to agree 101%. Let's go take out the rest of this trash. Wonder what's going to happen when we get back to town, though. They're going to know that we killed all their controllers, their little handlers here. Yeah, but that's sick. Oh, so they draw in any kind of visitor roaming by, especially other traders and stuff, and justify their ransacking these caravans and stealing all their stuff as being somehow a way to support their little compound here. Gonna shoot through that? He's dying regardless. Sicko ass scientist. You're one of the kind that made the next better bomb so you could kill more people, right? One of those kind of. What were you fixing to do? Alright. Well, I'm gonna loot the place while we're here. Subject 12. So if they've lost 4, 5, 6 people per subject, and they're already up to 12, 13, 14, that means they're responsible for the death of at least, oh, close to 100 people. The math between 80 and 100, whatever, doesn't really matter. So that's the innocents they've murdered and accidentally stumbling across a couple synths who are what? Put in by the Institute to, I don't know, gather information, do assassinations, whatever. And so what? So what if the synths are doing that? Right? What if a knife that you're using is on one hand used to cook dinner, cut meat to cook dinner, and on the other hand used to kill somebody? It's still a knife. So you got these synths, which are machines, which are doing this or doing that. Go to the people who programmed them, right? Why they're doing that? It's probably not any good thing. I like what Honest Dan said when we first met him, is if the Institute is putting these synths in here to replace real people, they're not doing it for our benefit, you know, and I'm probably not. We can guess what they're thinking. The way scientists think is that they can somehow improve on God's work. That's pretty much their bottom line. And somehow man's going to prove himself to be infallible and somehow capable of creating and managing things on his own. And every time they put their hand to do that, well, lots of people die, bad shit happens, mutations are run rampant and all the other stuff, you know, and it never ends well, ever.
What the?
I said this before, I'll say this again, and actually it's kind of funny, is man can't be a god because he's too much of an asshole. We do really messed up stuff as a whole, not just individually, but as a whole, you know. I mean, think about it. Our best efforts at peace result in war.
Maybe they're still here.
Our best efforts at equality and tolerance result in more racism and hate and everything else, and things that aren't racism are now called racism. And then vice versa, and we're backwards. We're upside down. We call good evil, evil good. We really can't, as a whole, make a good decision. And then if somebody does make a good decision, we can't agree on it, you know. And so, what one man's vision of what's best for humanity is never going to coincide with anybody else's vision, right? And so you get a bunch of these idiots, these knuckleheads together with the scientific means to do some really messed up genetic stuff, and you have this just, well, it's just a really bad situation. So, you know, so I'm not, this is by no means siding with the Institute. I haven't looked into them. They don't seem to be up to any good. They seem to be doing bad stuff. I'm sure they have some kind of justifiable reason, like this lady. Covenant is a place of healing. It's a place for those to recover, and we need to root out the rest of the sins. No. Okay, I understand if you want to provide a place of solace for people that are special victims of a particular kind of group. I get that. Okay, that's cool, but that's a complete side issue as to going and removing all sins without first dealing with the root of the problem, right? Just because you can't get to the Institute doesn't mean you start murdering innocent people so that you can feel you're being active about something, about a particular cause or whatever. And then she's like, the sacrifices we made. You haven't made any sacrifice, bitch. You're living down here off the meat of these innocent people and the labor of their hands, and their riches and their stuff while you ransack all these caravans, keep all their stuff, kill all the rest of the people, and then do your scientific experiments to pretend like you're actually doing some good. That's what it is. You know, so anyway. It's pretty obvious. But good moral lesson here, I guess. There we go. I don't know what he was about to say, but he didn't get a chance to get most of it out of his mouth, did he? Well, it looks like I'm running low on the old 38 ammo now, too. But that's cool. Put in some work with this gun. Notice I still have my scope on it. I guess I'm trying to get used to it, but actually, to be honest, I just keep forgetting that I've even got it on there. Alright, so this is another little holding cell, torture room, I guess, or something. There's some of the g.o.a.t questions, right? Well, they call it the safe test now. Subject 12 testing. We'll listen to these holotapes here in a minute to get their side of it, a behind the scenes, kind of fly on the wall perspective on what their research is all about down here. Although it's painfully obvious. Look at the conditions they kept people in. Piss in a bucket, get a random piece of mole rat meat or radroach meat, while these scientists sit here and feel all self-important. They don't even have a moral justification for what they're doing. There's really nothing there. And sugarcoating it with the, well, Covenant is a place of safety and security. That has nothing to do with what you're doing down here, except a place to draw flies and draw innocent people into your little trap. Stupid bitch. Well, what would you do if you were a child? See, she wanted to make it sound good, like something you can't argue with. When I was a child, I saw these people killed. Wouldn't you want to do something about it? Yeah, but not this. Not kill more innocent people. Not create more fatherless and motherless children. Not create more widows and widowers. No, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do more of the very thing that you say caused you to do this in the first place, which is completely ill-conceived and completely misdirected anyway. Yeah. But this is yeah, this is 100% wrong. There is no good thing here. I know this sounds insane, but do we need to ask the last question? Limiter of multiple choices. The answers will admittedly be more varied. For what it's worth, I agree with you. Question 4 was always Montgomery's, baby. Montgomery. Remember that name, Montgomery. I think question 4 is a red herring. Oh, they're getting all into, like, there's some big thing about the g.o.a.t. Like, they rename it the safe test, and now they're making it all super important to justify their insanity, because if the g.o.a.t. is really just a bullshit exam to decide whether you're supposed to be a carpet cleaner or not for the rest of your life in a vault, if that's all it is, then everything they're doing here is a complete fallacy. So they have to make it important to make themselves important. Or else we realize they're just psycho loser pieces of shit who really needed to die, which they did. And that's a good thing. But, yes, wow, holy crap. Alright, let's see. I don't know which one to listen to first.
Please. I got a kid.
Do you want another treatment?
No.
So, again, congratulations, you made it onto a baseball team. Which position do you prefer?
I've already told you. Catcher.
Again, which position?
Catcher, I'd be the catcher.
Why?
I don't know. They got the funny helmets. I saw a picture when I was a kid.
Do synths even know the rules of baseball?
No, please. I'm not. Just let me. No!
Just answer the questions, and only the questions. Congratulations, you made it onto a baseball team. Which position do you prefer?
Catcher.
Uh-huh.
Confidence on subject 12 is high. We'll know for certain post-mortem. And any progress on question 3? None. The EKG shows nothing unexpected. The answers are too damn predictable. You've made your opinions quite clear on the value of question 3. Removing it could invalidate all the data we've accumulated to date. Moving on, question 4. The data on this is fascinating. Why does baseball have the highest degree of correlation? Even more than question 8. Our methodology was exhaustive. Subject 12's answers in regards to baseball in his childhood were particularly fascinating. See here and here. I wonder, do they play baseball in the Institute? Or is there some sort of defect in their programming? We need another failure to explore this further. We can do nothing more with Subject 12 except final processing. I'll let the reclamation team know.
Murderers.
Where am I?
Shh, no. How are the subject's vitals?
It's a little unsteady, but within.
Who are you? What's... Ah! Son of a bitch! Do that... Ah!
I will only say this once. Speak only when spoken to. Please continue.
The subject is ready for baseline testing.
Subject, answer the questions quickly and with what first comes to mind. You're approached by a frenzied scientist who yells, "I'm going to put my quantum harmonizer in your photonic resonation chamber." What's your response?
Is that safe test? Ah!
Answer the question.
I don't know. I don't know science stuff. Ignore him.
Ignore him, you say. Fascinating.
I'm sorry, the mindlessness of a scientist to sit here and just completely ignore all human sympathy, human natural compassion, everything for their scientific thing. They just eventually ignore all logic and reason and common sense, and there's nothing educational, respectable about the institution of science when it comes to that crap. It's a bunch of whack jobs puffing their chest out and calling each other important so that they can feel important. Sorry. No. Oh, we got more guards up here? Oh, I guess these were the two that we saw on the way in. Yeah, take that, bitch. Yeah, I know. Okay. Don't be a coward about it.
The mission's mine.
I wonder if that doctor killed any children to see if there was such a thing as children synths or something. Just saying. Doesn't matter. They won't be doing that anymore. At least we got that girl back to her parents. And like Dan said, even if she was a synth, been through enough. So it really, the question bears the question: who's the real monster here? Who's the real monsters? Both. That could actually be the right answer. Both. Could be these people at the Institute. I don't really know yet. I'm going to look into it now. I'm sure it's not all good. Evil things are rarely completely evil. This is, well, other than maybe Covenant and that little sugar coating of, well, it's a community there for healing, so it justifies all the rest of this insanity. No, sorry. But for the most part, it's pretty bad. And then good isn't usually completely good either, necessarily. But
They're mucking around the shore at all hours, scaring my fish.
Not always so black and white, but this was pretty clear right here. So I'm expressing my full thoughts on the whole moral issue there, and that's I think really what it stems back to is, besides her just being a complete nut job, having childhood issues, which has now cost many innocent people their lives, in her obsession to find something that even if she were to succeed in her job, she would accomplish nothing. So all those people died for nothing. Okay, so she erases the few cents. Let's say she gets every single one of them. But you think they can't make more? Where you can make one machine, you can make as many as you want. I mean, there's no, you're not you're not doing anything to the brain trust that created that shit in the first place. Assuming it's even a bad thing, which I'm guessing it is. The synthetic humanoids being some abomination of scientists and stuff. Kind of what Paladin Dance is what he was talking about. I agree with him. Right? Some abomination of science. Right? I get it. Man trying to play God or doing all that crap again. Okay. And you deal with that. But this is just as bad. Maybe different, but maybe not so much different. Like I say, all the people she killed, I'm sure they didn't want to, I'm sure their children didn't want to see their parents killed any more than she wanted to see her parents killed, right? Alright, so I guess everyone here is hostile. Well, obviously. Wish there was a way to not have to do this. Although these people were apparently in on it. They all had their purpose, their objective, or their mission. Okay, they were all part of it. Sorry, Talia was just the nervous type. Yeah, everyone's hostile. I gotta clear out the whole town. This sucks. I mean, they got it coming, having been part of this, thinking that somehow murdering innocent people to try to root out a few robots was the right thing to do. I mean, if they're gonna be tools like that, well, true enough, I guess they need to go, but it still kind of sucks. And there goes Jacob. Who got dog meat? One of the turrets? Oh shit. Well, all the turrets aren't hostile. I wonder why not. Oh, I'm hitting the friggin' barbed wire. Alright, where can I get an angle on this thing where I can take it out? I guess that's why it wasn't shooting me right there, too. Couldn't get a shot on me either. Shit. Yeah, I'm not getting a shot on it. Right. Well, now it can shoot me and I can't shoot it. Okay, well that's kind of bullshit. Alright. You gotta reload eventually. Enough of that. I've got one more hostile turret. I hope it's just one. Sweet. Chinese officer sword. Okay, I think that's the first one of those I've seen so far. I think. Well, I may be stealing, but I don't know who I'm stealing from now. Oh well, I'll take it, I guess. Yep, this is some handiwork I'm really not proud of. Really? Would have avoided it, I guess, if I could. Like I say, then I don't know. Maybe it was the right thing to do. Map to compound. Ted Huntley, I wonder if he always had that on him. I wonder if there was a way to come through here, go deal with the compound without actually dealing with Covenant first and not make them hostile or something? Probably not. You probably can't even... It probably won't even activate as a place you can go until you've actually started the quest or something. That's probably the case. I don't know, but... like most of the things in the Bethesda games, there's usually more than one way to finish a quest. You know, there can be good ways, there can be complete ways, there can be lazy ways. Sometimes you can just pass a speech check or two and bypass a lot of the stuff. You'll miss a lot of rewards. And maybe a lot of experience and, you know, stuff like that. But you can get through some quests a lot quicker with shortcuts. But, yeah, like I say, you miss stuff along the way. And some little side stuff is hidden completely. For example, Oasis in Fallout 3. There was the young one there, the little girl. She was Bob or Harold, whatever, the tree's like best friend. And she had this little teddy bear which counted as a speech bobblehead. It literally gave you +10 to speech. On top of the bobblehead you could find at Paradise Falls, you know, eulogy and all that. That's what it counted. It was a permanent +10 to speech. You didn't even have to keep it on you. It acted just like a bobblehead. But you would only know that if you went through a certain couple speech checks and dialogue with her and stuff like that. Just hot side stuff. Which, you know, if you're just rushing through the area, you wouldn't catch on to that either. Like I say, there's probably another way to go about this, to maybe deal with the compound. And although I can't see stopping their little mission and befriending them at the same time. I can't really see, but maybe it's possible. Who knows? Anywho. Well, I didn't have to kill the cat. That's cool. Cat's still alive, right? Yeah, wagging his tail there. Alright. Well, here's the store. Wonder if there's any access to her complete inventory here, now that she's gone. I'm not seeing anything. Covenant shop key, but... see any place where she might store all her stuff? I'm just saying, I mean, you know, she's dead now. I can't undead her, so... good stuff here, but, yeah, I don't see her stockpile anywhere. All this is still considered stealing. Well, we can apparently use this as a compound, but, it's not quite looking right. I don't know, I'm going to look into that. Not much to build here either. Alright, thanks for watching. If you want to subscribe, click that button up top. I really appreciate you hanging out. If you want to catch the rest of this Let's Play, hit that image in the middle. It should send you straight to the playlist. Alright, y'all take care. Bye-bye.